Good thing you were chapped. I even called him out on it. I think he did it on purpose, but that's okay. We survived with Will. He was gracious enough to give you the whole, I think, half week off for you to take care of some business.
Yes.
Which I think is always a good thing. Now that you can actually see and focus, is it easier to play tennis now?
I don't know.
See the little ball coming at your head?
Well, I can see it if it gets really close.
Well, then it's too late.
Then it's too late.
So have you just been swinging blind all this time, Chris?
Apparently I have.
Just saw that little fuzzy thing in the air and thought you'd swat at it?
If I heard thuck, then,
We just thought that you were a tennis machine before, but now that you can actually see, I mean, your game is going to rise to a whole nother level.
Thanks.
Is it odd when you first get through being able to correct it and then you do have a clearer vision? I feel like, it reminds me, although I don't know what that is, but it reminds me of like when you got your braces off, or maybe you've skipped a few cleanings and the first time your teeth, do you take your tongue around your teeth? Mm-hmm. You're like, wow. I didn't realize how bad it was until
now.
Until now.
Yeah.
So is it distinctly different?
A little bit. It's not a great change, but it's a change.
It's a change.
It's a change.
Well, we're glad that you've changed back to being with us. We missed you.
Well, thank you.
Just take it and run.
I am.
Yes.
I got it.
Take the compliment. Take the compliment and go.
I am.
Okay.
I'm good.
I'm going to go to our guest here. We were just talking about compliments in mother's cooking, but we won't get into any of that while Perez enjoys his pie that was brought in by someone here at SuperTalk. It did get me tickled. A grandmother or a mother made the pie, Perez, and it wasn't up to her standards. So she gave it to her daughter to bring to work to feed all the others, right? And it's something about break room food that will just disappear no matter, what it is you put in there. You just put on a pot of coffee, you bring in some victuals, and the staff around here it just goes, Amia. It just goes. Okay, Miss Amia Edwards is joining us here on... What?
Nothing.
Well, where did that go? Where was that going?
I feel like I'm a peasant now.
Eat your food and enjoy it. Give thanks. Be grateful.
Okay.
Okay. So be grateful. I'm grateful, Amia, when I opened up your website at Amiable Productions or Amiable Productions, the first thing I read was Ain't God Good. And I thought, all the time. And I was like, me and Amia are going to click on all different levels today. So you are from Bolton, Mississippi.
I am.
The big old town of Bolton.
So huge.
Which we will actually be there at the 1st of April celebrating Gaddis McLaurin's spring open house. So I'm excited about that.
Yeah.
My only other connection with Bolton, other than I do have a friend or two who lived there in the past, but I left when I first got my driver's license. Amia, we're talking. Well, you were like 2 years before you got, or after you got yours, because we're near the same age. I was leaving Clinton, Mississippi. So you know where that's at. I was working at the little ice house thing, like making snowballs.
Yeah.
From a summer job. And I needed to get back to Terry, Mississippi. I literally had my driver's license not long at all. And I needed to get back going and the problem was my directions were off. I ended up in Bolton trying to get to Terry. Let's just put it that way, right? And so if you know anywhere about that, I took a wrong turn somewhere.
Totally wrong turn.
And then went straight until I recognized the Bolton exit. And I said, I don't think I'm headed home. Toto, we aren't home we aren't in Kansas anymore. And I've never forgot it. And so every time I hear Bolton or meet somebody from Bolton, my first thought is, that funny day I had to call my daddy and I'm lost trying to get home. And he's like, how did you get your driver's license? I don't know. I passed the test. Okay. You know how to get to and from there just fine on
absolutely.
purpose. But you've got a really interesting career. It's stacked with time spent in news media, real estate, and then into acting and theater production. So.
Yes.
Let's start with your career just in media in general. Were you on camera for news or no? So you're behind the scenes. So what drew you into the media industry to begin with?
I actually started in high school. I am a product of Clinton Public Schools.
Okay.
Yeah, go Arrows. Started in the co-op education program with Miss Barbie Ferguson. And actually, I started in 7th grade. I was a news anchor for Aerovision.
Really?
In 7th grade. That just came to me, yeah. And with Mr. Anthony Thaxton, that stuck with me. Then in my junior year, I applied to be a co-op education student. And at the time, I was working at Sears and Metro Center. That's how old I am. But
Look at Perez. It's like we've all shopped the Sears and the Metro Center, but you're only 2 years older than me.
yeah. I worked way too hard early on, but decided not to use my co-op credits towards Sears and use it at WLBT.
Yeah.
And they said, come on in. And so I was there at WLBT every day in high school from 1:45 to about 10 o'clock. I just loved it so much. And stayed there at WLBT and moved up in ranks. Started as an associate producer, became a producer for the morning weekend show, then got moved to the morning weekends with Wilson, Barbie, and Paul and Jack Hobbs. And then stayed there till I graduated Jackson State and moved to Birmingham, Alabama, and did some morning TV there.
Until I guess you decided life needed to take you in a different direction.
Yeah, at that point, I had been in TV, 15 years already.
And I'd say the industry has changed over that decade and a half.
When I got out, Facebook was just beginning. People were still on MySpace.
You are dating yourself now.
So that's when I got out, and I moved back home here and decided to get my real estate license. Did that a while with Gary Smith Real Estate. That shows my age again. And then got my own broker's license, opened my own real estate brokerage. Been doing that for 10 years. And decided to quit hiding my passion for acting and pursued it. Did some local theater here with J. Lee Plays. Then he booked me for every gig. Then I started leading the theater group at my church at New Jerusalem. Then I wrote a piece, and I was requested to record it. And then it got submitted to, it's called Got a Light. And it's on our website. It's definitely a Christian piece. And I'm a very animated crackhead, a substance abuse person, let's say that.
You are our first animated crackhead here on the Metro.
And so I would love for all of us to go look at it, but the character's asking for love.
Yes.
But she's really looking for a light for her cigarette. And I'm proud of that piece. Yeah. And that character, I wrote that piece in one of the darkest moments in my life, and then that character has opened so many doors. I was requested for several film festivals in Germany, North Carolina, South Carolina, LA. It's gotten that.
What was that like? Okay, so let's pause. I love, and I see that. And what I get out of your story are two things. One, that you got tired of, I guess, keeping your passion at bay, right?
Yes.
So when did the passion for theater start? Because there had to be that underlying want to be in front of the camera while working at WLBT or in media in general. And it's not for everybody. Everybody who's in film or media doesn't always have the aspiration to be on the other side. It's a completely different experience, right? So let's back up. When did the theater bug or the acting bug or just this, dream or desire inside of you to express, thoughts, feelings, or take form and character start?
If I can be completely candid and a little vulnerable with you, I always had it. I just didn't have the confidence to go after it.
And I think that's true for everybody in whatever their outlet is.
Yeah. And so I just told myself, well, no, I'll just be in the realm of it. I'll do local TV. And I'll be a news producer, and I'll just be really, really good at that. And I was.
You were the puppeteer instead of being the puppet's a terrible word, but that's kind of what a producer is, right? Is the puppeteer that creates and orchestrates the cast.
And it was still a great season in my life because it helped me become a good writer. It helped me with wonderful relationships with wonderful mentors like Wilson Stripling and Maggie Wade and Barbie Bassett. And I would not take that from me. From that chapter in my life, but if I could go back in time, I would have pursued what I really wanted to do a lot sooner.
Right. Which often here on the Metro, I mean, we talk about community theaters all over, not only all over the Metro, but then all over the state. News stations often here calling for people or
Yes.
cast, and it's like, there's someone listening who feels so much like you, who just wouldn't step out. Okay, so when you say you finally decided that you weren't going to hide your passion for acting anymore, what clicked? Something has to change. Like, what finally was your moment that said, whether win, lose, or draw, I'm gonna give it a try.
Yeah, Jay Lee Plays was having an open casting call, and I was actually on my way to show a house. And honestly, when I started is when I really began to pursue an adult with Christ as an adult. A relationship with Christ as an adult, excuse me. And I was just finished showing the house, and I was scrolling on Facebook, and I saw the casting call, and it was just open, just come by. And I said, why not? Just go. You didn't sell the house today anyway.
They ain't gonna buy it anyway.
Right. And immediately what came to my spirit was fear is not of God. So if you who are you going to obey? This real estate chase, or are you going to go after what you really want to do? And I went and auditioned. Thought I did terrible and got booked.
You know what? That's better, though, than thinking you knocked it out of the park and then never getting a call back. So humbling yourself always has a place in the puzzle, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so what was that validation like when they called you back?
It was surreal because honestly, I was more excited to get that part than I was with any paid gig I had with TV. I was like, oh my goodness, I'm an actor. And so it wasn't the first gig that made me feel good. It was the third time he called me when there wasn't casting calls. And he said, I want you to do this role. I was like, oh, I'm getting calls.
No, I get it, though.
Yeah.
It's a sense of no matter, even if you feel like you are stepping out on what you feel like you were called to do or just created to do in terms of an outlet. It didn't even have to be for paid. But then when someone else chooses you for it, it's a form of validation. Everyone doesn't have to have, but it's nice to get.
It's nice to get, but I also try to not depend on that. You know what I mean? It's a loose
balance,
puzzle.
yeah.
Yeah, but I try not to. But that was the first one.
Okay, so what was the first role that you got casted for?
Ooh, the first role Jay Lee put me in. I don't even know. It was actually my first film. Her name was Jade, and I was I tend to book comedic roles, and I was the comedic timing for a group of girlfriends in that group. Yeah, and we had our first debut at the convention center, and yeah.
Was it a feature film or just a short film?
Just a short film, local here in Jackson. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So did you get to watch the film? Could you see yourself on film?
I saw myself on that screen.
Because, see, I think that would be a little bit of draw for theater for me, if I was being honest, because then you don't have to watch it. Like, you are in it. It's live. So, like, there's no sitting back in the seats.
And looking at yourself. I totally get it. And honestly, in some ways, I prefer theater than film because I've learned very recently that theater and film acting are two totally different things. In theater, I can be just as animated and I can get away with a lot because I have to entertain so many in a live performance, right? But film, you really have to contain it because that camera's right there at you. So that's a different medium that I've learned to edit here recently. But it's fun. I love it.
You mentioned your church, New Jerusalem, had a theater department. Had they all? Was this part of Amia's new chapter, finding a place of worship that also had an outlet that you enjoyed, or had that program always been there, and you also too were just sitting in the pew, wishing you could be a part of it?
The latter. Chandra Wise actually asked me to come and be a part of the Christmas play. I was like, oh, okay, I'll come do it, and been a part of the theater ministry ever since. Been the leader of it for 3 years now, I believe. So I've been writing and letting the Lord use me in that capacity. But yeah, all of that kind of happened right there together. I never really tied that together, but yeah, they all kind of just happened. And it was honestly, now that I think about it, when I would, New Jerusalem is a large congregation, and I won't know everybody intimately, but some people just walk up to me at the grocery store and be like, "What you gonna do Sunday?" I was like, "I don't know, a stranger danger." What? Then they would reveal who they are, and it would happen at the gym. "Ooh, what you gonna do for Easter?" I was like, this acting thing, they know me, and it was just really. New Jerusalem definitely has always supported me. They will just come and say, "Oh, you did that part. That's your calling. That's what you're supposed to do." So all of that just kind of happened together, honestly, now that I look back at it.
1992, Merry Christmas pageant for the church. I held that plastic baby, Jesus. And I got rolled in on my fake donkey, and it was my moment. Joseph hit a few bumps, but we made it. We made it all the way down the aisle, and I have a ornament to commemorate the moment. No lines, no nothing, but that's okay.
That's always the best.
That's always. It's just funny for those of us who grew up in the church. What those moments you still just remember, and even then, some of those doors can open to other things like theater and church and all of that. And I know, Amia, you're also paying it forward for some of the children in JPS. So we're gonna get to that and more with Amia Edwards coming up next here on the Metro. Perez. I didn't realize our guest, Miss Amia Edwards, actress extraordinaire. She was in Every Time a Bell Rings, that was on Hallmark and shot in Natchez, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Dying to know, what was it like wearing sweaters in the middle of summer and trying to be cold in Mississippi?
Well, that not only did I have on a sweater, I had on 2 sweaters, a coat, boots, jeans, and
it was June, right?
It was June, right there on the river.
That's not too bad.
It's not August.
That's not. Wow, you just gave me that mom look.
A look.
My mother just came back and said, "Shut up."
Well, it wasn't that bad, but it was these bugs. I guess because we were so close to the water.
Yeah.
There were these bugs just flying everywhere. And if you look closely at the film, there are some parts where you just see a bug just right in front of the camera.
Just right in front. Which I know Natchez was such a good host that I think the director for that film, we had him on SuperTalk on Good Things, but they're planning on coming back.
Yeah.
And so will you be involved in the other projects?
I hope so, direct.
From your mouth to the casting director's ear.
Amen.
Amen. We'll receive it. Okay, this is so cool, Amia. I mean, we spent getting to know like your backstory, but I don't want folks to miss the fact that when you had the courage to step out to what you always wanted to do, things started to fall into place. And I think oftentimes we want to see 10 years from now that we'll be successful in whatever it is we feel like we want to do and have that security. But you couldn't have written this script out for your life in terms of, because when you first stepped out and went to that, you left a showing as a real estate agent, or didn't, or skipped it, and went to your first casting, right? Was unpaid. I mean, in your wildest imagination, did you feel like you would be on Hallmark movies?
No.
Or get a SAG credit?
No, or multiple SAG credits. I just posted yesterday. I don't know why I Googled myself.
I hear you should do that often, but not out of pride, out of like protection.
Fear.
But no, it was something with my Facebook business page, and it wasn't coming up. So I Googled myself to see if it came up that way, and I had an IMDb page.
Really?
Well, look at you.
I know.
Okay, so explain the Greek.
IMDb. I do not know what IMDb is.
But what is it? What is it? Why is it a big deal?
It's when you are in Hollywood and your credits.
So it's like your Wikipedia.
Unofficially, yes.
But like kind of, yeah.
Right. So if you Google me, I'm there. I don't have a profile picture. I have not figured out how to do
because nobody told you had one.
I was like, I got an IMDb page. Mama, look. Mama didn't know what it was either. But, but it was really cool to see those credits there. And I was like, I did do that.
You did.
So when I first started this, How
many years ago did you step out and create your own, or step out to sort of create this next phase of your career?
6 years.
Okay, and when did Amiable Productions come along, which is your production company?
Amiable Productions came along on my brother's birthday, 5/22/2017.
So why did you decide, Amia, to go from just self-acting and your own career to now creating a company where you could lift up others and create opportunities for others to have the same experiences?
Yeah, well, as a plus-size actress of color, it can be hard to get gigs. And so I knew I needed to Oprah or Tyler Perry this thing, so to speak, and own what I put out on this. That was a play on Oprah Winfrey. But anyways, own what I put out and also have my own platform. So that's where Amiable came in. Then parents would always just come to me, how do we get in? How do we? And they didn't know. And I do stay, I'm a proud resident of South Jackson. And I wanted to provide a avenue or somewhere for parents to know how they can get their child in this industry. And here we are today. So we're having casting camps. We're at 5 JPS campuses. The name of the program is 321 Action. So what I do is, in essence, first we establish the history of film. Then we talk about characters such as Hattie McDaniels and her history with the Academy. Then we talk about the importance
I don't know nothing about birth of no baby.
That's not Hattie McDaniel, Perez.
Ooh, she
I
called
don't
you
know
out.
nothing.
That's
I still
Butterfly
don't know
McQueen.
I like her, Perez. Can we keep her?
Yeah, I think we can.
I like her. Okay.
But and so we go from the history of film, then we start talking about the dialogue of all the ins and outs of film, and before you know it, the kids are writing their own screenplays, shooting their own short films, and all in between this, we have these master classes. So when I get cast on a project, I network and tell them about the program we're doing. And I ask them, can you host a master class about makeup for my students at Jackson, Mississippi? And they're so anxious to do it and so happy to do it. They're working right now on their short film scripts. And David Bush, who worked very closely on the Project Ma, that was also filmed in Natchez, he's reading their screenplays right now. So each student wrote their own screenplay, and he's giving them feedback, and they're shooting their own movie, and that's what we'll be debuting next week at the convention
At the
center.
Convention Center, which is your upcoming film festival. Okay,
Yeah.
I adore this for so many
Thank
different
you.
reasons. Number one, you can't aspire to be what you don't know is available.
Right.
Right. And it's so these kids, their chance of all of them making it into the film industry or even wanting it, maybe 1 or 2 or 3 of them.
Right.
But the skills that they learn or just the opportunities that they are made aware of could be all the difference,
Yes.
in the world. So I'm going to guess that some of this is foreign concept to a lot of these kids.
Oh, everything.
Right. I mean, what
everybody comes
ages?
in wants to be a star.
Right.
So we started in middle school.
Oh, wow. That's a scary age.
But you know what? They're the most passionate sometimes. But the middle school students are focusing on stage plays. And they're actually doing The Wiz. And there is a director who's a student. There is makeup who's a student. So it's all student driven. So
do they get casted like in terms of who's going to play what, or do you seek out first, Amia? Would you be interested in makeup? Would you give them like first, where's your interest, or is everybody kind of you choose from their gifts and talents where they belong?
Honestly, they chose organically once we started having the master classes. Allison LaCour, who did Beyonce's makeup on Lemonade, she held a master class and she taught them how to make bruises and things. And then all of a sudden, all these kids wanted to be makeup artists, and when they wanted to do the makeup for their colleagues and peers for the show. But when we did open call and the casting call for The Wiz, I did not know. I learned the hard way how ambitious parents can be when they want their babies to be the lead character. But
Parents, take a seat.
People call my personal cell.
But
and
not just
bribing
in
me.
this, but this is me just saying too, like parents take a seat, not only in theater, but also in sports and grades and like, oh God, my parents would have never stood up for
They're just proud.
They are, and it's from good place, and they're terrified they're going to miss an opportunity.
Right.
So you have to handle that with care.
And one thing I make
parents
sure
take a seat.
everyone knows is that there's so many careers.
Right. It's not just the star.
And there, sometimes the people who write make 10 times more than the people who
And
are
they can have a
performing.
life because nobody knows their face.
Exactly. And so the kids know this now. Starting at 6th grade, they know all the different roles and capacities they can have in this industry, especially after the master classes. It's funny how after every master class, somebody's child's gonna say, "So how much you make?" And so
But that's
I
in
love
every
that.
career, though.
Yeah, and I love that though that they're thinking and they're realizing, "Hey, I could do this.
Right.
I can be a screenplay writer, and that's all I do." And now we took them from hating to write to actually being creative in this industry.
See, and there's an opportunity there where even if they never sell a screenplay or pursue that, you have tapped into something that motivated them to improve a skill that will then in turn accompany them on whatever they
Yes.
choose to do in their life. Perez has this. Yes, Perez.
Why do we have to say they'll never sell a screenplay?
I didn't say they never would, but the chances, I think also that needs to be part of this, which I'm sure Amia is doing, is you got to dream big, but you got to be reality. Not everybody who wants to, make it makes it, but it doesn't mean you can't still enjoy it
Right.
and find your place in it.
Well, what's important to me is that they're exposed to it and now they know
No,
what it
yes.
takes.
Yes.
And so, like I said, everybody at first wants to be the actor. And I wouldn't have known this if I had not been a producer in TV first. You've got to understand what's going on in all aspects of this industry.
And that would make you a better actor.
Exactly.
Even if that is where you sort of land, is sort of getting all of that.
Exactly.
And I think my part is it's not that they can't. And it's the ones that say, I'll show you, lady, will end up being the screen, writer of the what. But sometimes I feel like as parents, not to harp on them, but not only do we try to bribe to get them the first role, right? But we also can sometimes oversell that if you just work hard, you can be whatever you want to be, but it may not be Denzel Washington.
Right.
Right, like there, or it may not be Oprah or
Right.
Tyler Perry, but you can be somewhere along the spectrum.
Right.
And as long as you have a clear definition of success for you in your life,
Yes.
you
And
don't
can
define it
be-
off of theirs.
And
I
you
think
can
is what I'm
be a
getting.
successful actor without any of the fame and brand of that. You can have one person that taught a master class with us was Mr. Lance Nichols. Mr. Lance Nichols is a mentor of mine. He has, I believe, 75 credits. And
What does it mean to have a credit?
you work, got in a show, got in a movie, got a check.
So that's like a tally mark for
Yes.
for
I like the way you got to the check part.
it matters. I mean,
It's a
He's got
career.
credits, but
I got
he got
75
a check.
checks.
Checks.
And so that's important for them to see
Yes.
that fame in a social media era, fame does not equate success.
Woo, say it again for the people in the back.
That does not mean Oprah would not be Oprah if she didn't own everything she puts out.
Yeah.
She
From a artist perspective, Perez, you can give a little amen to that, right? From
No kidding.
musicians. That
Yeah.
he's our music
Person.
master over there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So it's the same. It's kind of different industries, but same concept.
absolutely. And so
I'm not getting a check.
And neither are a lot of musicians.
That's true. That's quite true.
that part. But I just want them to, not only them but their parents, to know what it takes, the dedication you have to have, the importance of learning lines. And it's just not we get in front of the camera, we do this. There's a lot of work, more work going on behind the camera than there is in front. So we started middle school with a stage play, and then we introduced them to the film industry in high school. And that's when the energies change. That's when a lot of the creative initiatives change. That's when they're allowed to use these mediums to vocalize issues that they have. And especially coming off a pandemic.
Yeah.
And we have classes at Callaway, several campuses. But it's interesting to see what they've put on film.
And they are going to put it on coming up on March 25th. We'll
Yes.
get to all those details and more with Amia Edwards coming up next. The best time with Amia Edwards.
Thank you,
You
Rebecca.
probably have seen her and didn't even know it that she was from good old Bolton, Mississippi, now resides in South Jackson. I love the fact that you love our state and choose not to leave. And
Yes.
that you love the metro and choose not to leave. And to give back to...
And worked at Sears.
and worked at Sears.
I'm not I just can't get past that. I'm stuck on working at Sears and Metro Center.
At the Metro Center. But you are opening the eyes and doors for kids here in the Metro to at least see the past, see the yellow brick road, right?
Yes.
From the Wiz. Now, whether they take it or not is totally up to them, and who knows where it will lead. I like what you said during the break. I think your mom's listening to the Metro, so shout out to your mom. But she didn't know. She said she had a child. You phrased it as she had a child with glitter and didn't know what to do with it.
Right.
And I think there's a lot of parents who may feel that way, and a stage would have been the perfect place for you.
Yeah.
Thank God you found it and are able to sort of direct kids to it.
Well, my mom took me to things, but they were gimmicks. She needed to pay $1,200 for this, she needs to go get. And Mom was like, "Baby, listen, you need shoes. Your brother and sisters need."
You did your mama.
Mama raised 4 kids by herself. She did that.
Yeah.
And she still found ways for me to, okay, you gonna be a news anchor for what? And you need to be at the school at what time? All right, Mia. And we made it happen. But how to get me in the films and things, she didn't know how to do that.
Right. And that's not her fault.
No, it's not.
You don't know what you don't know.
And now she's like, I don't know what Mia doing, but okay, here I come.
But she paying her own mortgage. And so she doing good. That's in my days. You do whatever you want to do in life as long as I ain't got to pay for it.
She's extremely proud. Mama's everything.
Mama's everything, which I'm sure a lot of mothers also feel that way about what you're giving for their kids and the opportunity. So I don't want to I could talk to you for hours, Amia.
Thank you.
The film festival that's coming up March the 25th. Let's get to the event and the kids that'll be highlighted.
Oh, so we have 5 campuses, and the kids.
And this is after school, because I did ask if it was
program.
Intertwined in school, and you said no. This is an after school.
We have to have after
school.
Yeah,
yes.
Because if hindsight being 2020, I should have assigned or randomly picked topics for the kids to do. I didn't think that in high school. I forgot what it was like to be a high schooler, but horror film is it. So when they started delivering and presenting their posters for their films, I was like, everybody did a scary movie.
Well, high school's scary. Middle school's terrifying, but high school's scary.
Everybody did a horror film. And so that's hindsight being 2020, but it still is where their creative is right now. And I want to definitely embrace that. So Forest Hill turned in 6 different shorts. Each student did their own. They did their own writing, they did their own editing, and they're doing their own marketing. Callaway, Provine, and I'm missing one. Goodness, they're going to shoot me. That's it. Yeah, I'm making sure I didn't miss anybody. Callaway, Provine, Wingfield, they all did collectively 1 short. And like I said, David Bush is reading their screenplays right now. Everyone who hosts a master class throughout the year, they will serve as judge, and they will pick for the Amiable Awards coming up in May. They will pick Best Actress, Best Actor, Best Screenplay, Best Director, Best Cinematography, and all the kids, because they understand the history of the film industry, they understand what they're winning. Because what I don't want them to do is, if they decide to pursue this career, crave the validation from the industry. I want them to know they've already been validated before they even graduated high school, that you are doing this and you're capable and you're already award winning. And to give them that, and they'll have a reel. And like we discussed on the break, they'll have a headshot that's professional. And Mama and Daddy know where to take them now to get one. They know where to go and find other opportunities. They know the importance of submitting to film festivals now, because Miss Amia, as they call me, gave us our first one. And now I know the software and what to do and upload my own. So, yeah.
So now you have the tools.
Yes,
right?
you know everything.
It's not as scary. And then you get the opportunity to use it, or just to use it as a fun experience, and then take the work ethic and apply it to, if you want to go into engineering or nursing or teaching or whatever it whatever it may be. Being able to express yourself, I think, in a confident way is an underutilized or underestimated of character trait that is great in all fields, not just in acting, right?
Yeah.
Okay, if we want to get out and support on the 25th, can we come and watch? Or
Yes.
so how does that work?
I definitely encourage you to go to Eventbrite and get a free ticket so we can keep count in a COVID world still. Definitely get that free ticket and just come and check us out and support the kids.
Where's it going to be at?
I'm sorry, I didn't say that. The convention center
Yes,
downtown.
you did, but we'll round back to that.
At the convention center, the red carpet officially begins at 4:30 because middle schools get out before high school. So the red carpet starts at 4:30. We officially start screening the shorts at 5:30.
What day is the 25th on?
That's a Friday night.
That's
so
a Friday night.
They get their first Friday night debut.
That's awesome.
Isn't it cool?
It is cool. So is this the first one of your project, or have you done this before?
I've done it before as an actor.
Yes.
But as Amiable Productions with the 3-2-1 action program, yes, this is our first official big event. And of course, in May, we'll be performing The Wiz at the middle school. And again, at the Amiable Awards at the end of the school year.
Which I think is super exciting. Okay, so now I feel like all the parents want their kids to go to those schools, Amia, and it's like to be sort of a part of this. So if they are thinking, I've got a child that glitters and I don't know what to do with her or him. Do you have advice for those parents that maybe aren't in the school districts that you mentioned or in the schools?
Yeah. First of all, you can follow me on all social media platforms. I'm sharing casting calls all the time. Follow Matthew Morgan. That's one of the major casting directors here in the state, honestly. Also follow the Mississippi Film Commission. They are always looking for crew when people come, because what's happening in the state of Mississippi is a really good time, is the state of Mississippi gives credits for films that come here that may not have a humongous X-Men or Superman budget, right? So they'll get tax credits for hiring local talent, whether in front of the camera or behind. So follow them and see other opportunities. Definitely get a good headshot. And we are working. My goal is to definitely bring this program back home. I want this program in Hinds County, Bolton specifically, and Clinton. So we're working to come to other school districts. But right now, as a Jacksonian, where Jackson is in a hard place right now for our young babies, I really want to inspire them and show them that someone that they identify with is doing it. And you can come along with me, and this is how you do it.
There's a different path or a different opportunity or a different way. And if nothing else, there's an outlet for your emotions.
Yes.
I think we also don't give that enough credit.
Yes.
Just like we all have emotions. Every single one of us, and how we disperse them, differs. And, Perez does tennis. I throw weights around. Other people bake, some people whatever, but you've got to harness it, and kids don't know what to do with it.
And it's funny you said that, because that's what two students came up to me, and I did a visit. I believe I was at Forest Hill, and they said, "Miss Mia, this program makes me want to come to school." And that there, I know. I was like, and the teacher came to me, "I don't know what you're doing, but for that child to say that." Or at the middle school, like I said, for a plus size talent, my agent definitely encouraged me to stay plus size in a healthy way, of course. And I had a young girl who was plus size as well. She said, "You don't be scared what people say when you go in front of them." I said, "No, baby, because God makes us all in different sizes and shapes.
Amen.
And He gave us all talent. So you're going to get up here with me and do these lines?" And ever since then, that baby has been outgoing and confident in her own skin, which is so important to me.
Which that in itself, you could have saved that young girl decades of just even if she never, I think we all needed that. Girls and boys need to be.
No matter what size you are, we all got these issues, but our insecurities, but
the fact, though, that you could harness it and use what you think the world deems not appropriate or not worthy and turn that into your greatest asset, I think is a mind shift that needs to happen globally.
All over.
Yes,
Everybody
sir,
needs to test
Perez.
positive.
Can I have her phone number?
Whose? I don't know. Are you married?
No,
Wait a minute, Perez.
No.
Wait a minute, Perez.
Can I have her business?
SuperTalk.
Match made in SuperTalk heaven. Look at me over here. We're working at all angles today.
You are killing me.
Well, you can see now. So she's a beautiful woman, came into the studio. Of course,
okay.
You would want a number.
business number.
You can find us all, of course, at AmiaEdwards.com.
Okay.
And my number is 601-675-AMIA.
You didn't have to tell it out loud. I mean, you could have just
She
written
said
it down.
if you gonna call all the brothers gonna be able to call.
AMIA.
Is it your name?
Yes. I was so happy to find that.
You
by the way.
you are whimpering it, and I couldn't get the words out.
And you know what? Honestly, that's another plus size sister that inspires me for sure.
She doing fine for herself too.